I put up a post on my community tab asking you guys what you want to see in content here on YouTube in terms of fragrance. And many of you guys showed out with your recommendations, with your ideas, and I was really impressed and I'm very grateful. So this video topic comes as a recommendation from Spleenful, full of spleen. I think that applies to all of us, but thank you, Spleenful. And Spleenful suggested this comment. If you want to read it, you can pause it.
I'm not going to sit here and read it to you.
But you can tell by the title what we're doing today. These are fragrance blind buys that are essentially what you could call failures. 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 They did not work out. Obviously, I still have them, but for specific reasons, I'm just not drawn to them. At least not as much as I thought I would be. Maybe they'll grow on me later if I hold on to them, but maybe they won't. Maybe I'll get rid of them and I won't miss them. I'm at peace either way. Here's the lesson I want to impart on you before we begin. Just because you think you might like a fragrance doesn't mean you'll actually wear it. I know it's crazy, but you know I'm right. Your chances of wanting to wear that fragrance over others you already have dramatically decrease if you don't love that fragrance. Over the course of the past few years, many people have criticized me for trying to imbue caution when it comes to flippant fragrance purchases. And they have justified this by saying,
it's just a part of the journey, bro.
And you know what? That. You thought I said it. I didn't say it. Or did I?
I didn't say.
It is the historical nature of human society that wisdom is passed from one generation to the next. You know this. This means that the previous generation should learn from their past mistakes that they made through consistent and passionate work. And they applied the knowledge that they acquired, hopefully. And then they help the next generation to not make those same mistakes. Of course, the next generation is still going to make mistakes. They might make new ones, but that's fine too. That actually keeps the flow rejuvenated throughout time. I think encouraging the opposite of this is absolutely ludicrous. I dare you to try to convince me that collecting dust is a necessary byproduct of this hobby. Go ahead, I'm listening. So let's get into these fragrances. Rather than just give you 5 fragrances that I bought blindly and they didn't work for me, I decided that I'm going to pair each one up with a fragrance in my collection that maybe has a similar character or personality that I just prefer to wear more. It makes the other fragrance almost obsolete in my collection. In no particular order. First one up here is from Hermes. It's called L'Ombre de Merveille. Now, I have recommended this fragrance. These videos that I make, they're not just for me. Yes, I'm documenting my fragrance journey. I'm sharing with you guys what I'm coming across, what I'm enjoying, what I'm kind of liking, what I don't like. All of that it's me. This is my life on camera, but I'm also trying to add value to you, and I'm trying to do so as objectively as I can. So this fragrance, I can say objectively, is a beautiful and unique fragrance from a designer brand. That being said, unfortunately, I have an association with this fragrance that keeps me from truly enjoying it. I can appreciate it, but it smells like juice to me. It smells like a juice that I've drank as a kid. Now, you may not get that, and I sure hope you don't, because it is a beautiful scent based on incense and tonka bean and tea. It is this wispy, sweet, almost soapy clean, strangely fresh fragrance, but it's just not for me. I don't love it. It's been a couple years now, and it just doesn't click with me. One that kind of has a similar personality, but ultimately quite different, is Russian tea from Mosque Milano. I just prefer this. This does have a smoky incense. It does have tea. It's darker, it's smoky, it's spicy. There's a sweet, almost honeyed raspberry to it, a beautiful cooling mint. And for whatever reason, I don't really have a strong association. So you might see association lingering throughout this video in many of these fragrances. I love this one, and I would pick it every time over L'Ombre de Merveille. At least at this point in time, that's Russian tea from Mosque Milano. I really wanted to love this fragrance, and I do like it. There's nothing about it that's off-putting to me. There's nothing about it that's negatively associative for me. But I think it is the victim of drastic reformulation that just kind of ripped it of its character. From Lolita Lempicka, we have what is now called Homme, which I do believe was called All Masculine. New bottle, new formulation. It's primarily a sweet, fresh, woody licorice fragrance. You do have to like licorice, but again, again, it just has no real presence. And I'm not talking about the performance. It is a rather light scent, but I don't care about that. If I sprayed this like 3-4 times in one spot, it just kind of like dies. Like there's no core to the scent. The personality is watered down in a way. It's kind of hard to describe. It's just almost nondescript. I do like it, but I can never love this fragrance. There's just not enough here for me. Instead, this is an all-out licorice fragrance, and this is one that fewer people will enjoy. Lure Vert from Killian. This is licorice with absinthe, woods, maybe some spice. You really have to like licorice here. But what I like about Lure Vert is it has a distinct personality. This is a strong featured face. You see it, you recognize it, you'll never forget it. You may not like it, you may be put off by it, but you have to appreciate it for being nothing but itself. I wore this just the other day. It's perfect for the fall. Again, a little odd, but beautifully unique and very elegant. Lure Vert from Killian. I find Azzaro Hot Pepper to be good, but generically sweet and spicy. A little fresh, sweet, spicy, kind of has a warmth to it. Ultimately, it's just blah. They could have done without this. This does not need to exist. There's many other fragrances that do what this does in a more interesting way. Again, pleasant, but unnecessary. If I'm gonna wear something that has an aromatic quality, that has a sweetness, that has a spiciness, but way more depth, I'm gonna wear my own fragrance, Second Soul. Without a question. There's so much more going on in here, but it's still super accessible. I think most people would get their nose on this, and it doesn't come across as complicated, but it is complex, and you really get that complexity as it dries down. You smell it at first, you can smell there's a lot going on, but it's all very blended together. Maybe a few things will pop here and there, especially at the top, but as it sits, it evolves, and it evolves in a very natural way on your skin throughout the day and night. And yes, I'm biased because I had a huge part in creating this fragrance, but it's literally my taste in a bottle. So if you come to my channel because you want to know what I like, it is characterized in this bottle. This is it. And I hope you like it too, at least for while it's still here, because it will not be available for much longer. Link down below. I really love the House of Lalique because they are a designer house that does things differently. They kind of just go their own way. They're not really looking over the fence. What are they doing? Okay, let's try our version of that. They're just kind of doing their thing. Like, all right, we
did this. What do you think?
And people are like, this is really different. How did you come up with this? And they're like,
I don't know. We were just working on stuff.
At least that is my perception of Lalique. But not every fragrance is a hit. You can generally find their fragrances heavily discounted in many places, and sometimes there seems to be a reason for that. I really wanted to love Equus Pour Homme. Love this bottle, but this fragrance just comes off as quite synthetic to me. The woodiness of it, for whatever reason, makes me kind of nauseous when I smell it around me. As it dries on the skin, there's this sharp, sickly quality to the woods. You ever get that nasal drip? I hate that. Sometimes it seems to be caused very randomly, but it seems to happen every time I smell this fragrance. So I don't really love it. Does smell a little bit like a drier, woodier Gucci Pour Homme 2. So if you're looking for an alternative to that, which is discontinued and way overpriced these days, I would consider this. It is very inexpensive, but it might smell that way to you, but it might not. Some of you guys probably really dig this stuff. If I'm gonna wear a fresh, aromatic, woody fragrance, I would just rather wear Bois Imperial from Essential Parfum. This is definitely a much more simple fragrance compared to the Lalique. Just a few ingredients working together in harmony. You have kind of a fresh, almost metallic, musky woodiness with this very upfront and aromatic basil note, a little bit of earthy patchouli grounding it. But overall, it smells clean, it's woody, it's musky, a little bit sexy, and extremely versatile, and doesn't make my nose drip. Bois Imperial from Essential Parfum. And this fragrance was a direct recommendation from a few people, and I actually purchased it in a live stream. I was live and I was doing some live shopping, and I was taking recommendations from the viewers. Hey guys, what should I buy? And I'm scrolling through the pages. This one was highly recommended. I picked it up, I sprayed it, I kind of liked it. I'm like, okay, this is nice. And then I let my wife smell it. She told me,
Ugh, this smells like baby wipes.
It was never the same.
It smells like baby wipes to me, and unfortunately I can't unsmell it. From Bottega Veneta, which I love Bottega Veneta, but this one is not a hit for me. This is Illusione. I tried to wear this in some like casual, like semi-casual daytime outings during the summer, which I think it's perfect for objectively speaking, but subjectively, the combination of ingredients, which on paper looks like it should just go together as this strong but clean, fresh, masculine personality, but it just comes across kind of weirdly chemically clean. Nowhere near as woody as I was hoping it would be. It's nowhere near as bitter, juicy, citrusy as I hoped it would be. There's just an odd character to it that does not work for me. I don't hate it, but I actually don't necessarily consider it pleasant. So this was unfortunately a fail. If I'm gonna wear a citrusy, fresh, slightly woody fragrance with class to it, I would rather wear Brioni Eau de Parfum Éclat. Now this is more of a musky profile, and it's more of a grapefruit rind rather than the flesh and the fruit of the grapefruit. It is bitter, a little astringent, but that actually makes it have even more personality, especially when there's some heat, but the muskiness kind of rounds things out, kind of warms them up. But overall, it is kind of an icy, fresh, musky, woody, citrusy fragrance, kind of like the way the bottle looks here. If you put this and the Bottega Veneta on a table and I had to choose between one of them every single day, I would choose this one every single day. Brioni Eau de Parfum Éclat. Let me know if you dig it. If you haven't tried it, it's going to be linked down below. All right, I want to know what you think of this topic. I can do more. I have more fragrances that I've bought blindly that didn't work for me that I can offer replacements for, so to speak. I think this is an interesting idea. So Spleenful, thank you once again for the recommendation. And once again, every fragrance I talked about, even the ones that I don't love, will be linked down in the description because, again, objectively speaking, you might love something that is just lukewarm to me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.